I agree with you, lot. I think it's taken a little bit too long. I would have thought that it would have been done by now. I wanted him to travel to America. Like I said, I always go back to last season. Our preseason was so bad. It was so badly prepared. The guy would tell you how easy it was to play against us, how poor he was. Do you know what I'm saying? So I wanted Casado ready to fly to America. But when I read Ornstein's article the other day when we bid it again, he basically said that a lot of the delays is down to the whole situation with Levi Colwell. Obviously, you guys know how much they've wanted him. They took the piss as well. They bidded 30 million, and they tried to come back again with another, was it 40 million after that? So I think that's been one of the major reasons why there's been a big delay, because obviously they're not trying to negotiate, bring the price down for Casado whilst they want one of our players. But in the same breath, we should definitely be upping the money now to get that wrapped up. And then just to that point that you said, George, about bidding that 70 million, in all honesty, I think the reason why we bidded that is because ideally they want 100 plus. They basically want what Arsenal got for Rice. That's what they're using as their benchmark. We will know that Casado isn't worth like 105 million. Even what we're going to pay for him, he's not worth that right now. But if we went in straight away with the 85 million or 80 million, they're definitely gonna reject that and then just ask for more money. So that's the reason why we've lowballed them, to hopefully meet in the middle, because everyone sort of mentioned around 80, 85. I reckon. Is it? No, this is the second bid, I believe. It's the second bid. I reckon we'll get him for about 85 million. I think that's the reason why we've bidded the amount, because if we go in with the 80 million straight away, there's nothing, Brighton are tough negotiators, man. Tough negotiators. If we go in straight away with the 85 million, they're going to up that. We're going to have to pay 90 million plus 100 million potentially. So I agree with you lot. It's taking too long, but I'm not against the money that we've put down. But it's just taking too long to do, in all honesty. I don't know why it's taken over a month to put in another bid. Do you know what I'm saying? Like what could you be negotiating about now? Like it's got to the point now where it's like, come on, just get it done. Do you get it? So in that breath, I agree with it, but I do agree with the amount, the initial amount that we've sort of put down, so we can meet around 80, 85 million. Because 100 million for Casado is crazy. Like I'm not trying to see that, to be honest.
If you don't get Caicedo, who would be your other option?
This is it.
He's the only one that
this is it.
So there's no, but shouldn't you? Don't you feel like you should at least have like a?
I mean,
I always feel like you should never just have a plan A. Like that doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, the other option that we've been looking at obviously is Lavia, but like we've spoken before, Casado is a different level to Lavia. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. I know the amount of appearances isn't the same, but when you look at their ability and what they've done so far whilst they've been in the league, Casado is different. I mean, he elevates all of us. Do you know what I mean? Lavia, I can't say that for sure yet. Do you know what I mean? I like him as a player, but there's levels to this. Do you get it? So that's another reason why we have to get this done. Because missing out on Casado, that's a howler. That is a howler right there.
Do you know what's interesting? The Athletics just put out a new update in the last 10 minutes that says that Chelsea's latest offer of 70 million is nowhere near Brighton's 100 million valuation for Caicedo. Brighton feel Caicedo is at least as good, if not better, than Declan Rice, who has joined Arsenal for 105 million. Plus, the Ecuadorian midfielder is 3 years younger. And this is the thing. There are journalists, Ben Jacobs, who comes on the Terrace, who is one of them, that says that the Caicedo camp are angry that Brighton are pricing him at a higher value than he thinks he's worth himself. I'm not digging out Ben. I have Ben on, but it doesn't mean Ben's right about everything. And Ben's saying that industry insiders are saying it will be 80 million, and it could end up being 80 million. But Ben also put out a tweet last week and said Henderson will definitely not be joining the team in Saudi, and then they made him an offer he couldn't refuse, and he changed his mind. And I'm not stating Ben's wrong. I'm saying the Chelsea fans remain open-minded. Like, the Athletic are very credible as well, and so is Ben. But the Athletic keep printing the same thing, and they're doubling down. Brighton won 100 million, and they're not budging. And that's the interesting thing for me here. There's half of it that it's Brighton overpricing him. The player thinks he's worth 80 million. Industry insiders think it'll be done for 80 million. And then there are other outlets that are very resolute, and it's going to be 100 million or nothing. So that's obviously why it's taking so long. The clubs are nowhere near an agreement. And then you throw the Levi Colwell thing in, which is a weird one because, again, a lot of credible sources, the Chelsea sources say he ain't leaving no matter what. But other credible sources outside of Chelsea say, well, the player's quite open to leaving. None of it is universal in terms of... like sometimes, that you've had the Onana news to Man United. Even though the newspapers all say slightly different things, the story was all kind of similar. Where with this Chelsea, Brighton, Levi Colwell, Caicedo situation, it feels, and this isn't a dig at Chelsea or at Brighton, it feels like a massive, just like Igal's internet tonight, it feels like a massive it feels like a massive mess, if that makes sense. It's
Yeah.
very confusing about what's going on.
You know what? I love
it's
it.
so frustrating.
It's exactly
It's
what
so-
Chelsea have been doing last year too. It's the mess continues. Todd Bowley, I thought he fixed things. I thought he brought in new people. I thought other people were running the football club, not Todd Bowley. You want to know something? Chelsea Football Club, the reason why they don't get as much stick as other clubs like Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool, because at certain points people realize those fans are not going to read their topics. They're not going to be interested in it because the reality is they just want to be force-fed positive news. The reality is you guys know that your club is still run like a mess. You guys know.
You're saying they're not a big club.
You guys know that your preseason squad is an absolute joke, and you wouldn't even finish 12th if it wasn't for more incoming signings. And in addition to that, you know that you're not going to be getting another striker potentially of the caliber to raise your levels. If you get a Victor Osimhen, I'll shut my mouth, and I think you guys will do really well. I don't think Kepa is going to be going anywhere. He might be starting at the beginning of the season. And the rest of your squad, let's go through it. You have the worst midfield out of a top 6 team in the last decade, my guy. Right now, if it wasn't for Caicedo coming in to save your team, I don't know what you guys are going to do.
You're going off too early, man. Save your ammunition to the end of the window.
I'm being dead serious. I'm being dead serious. If I look at Chelsea's midfield, and I'm talking about full squad midfield, not just the first 3, because we can do the first 3 and say any first 3 looks good. But let's be honest, they're not going to be without any injuries. Chelsea, when they go down to their bare bones, what do they have there? What do they actually have in their midfield? They've gotten rid of a lot of players, but you look at that, and who do they have? Conor Gallagher, Santos. Like Santos hasn't even played yet. Callum Hudson-Odoi is not even a winger. They have that Chukwueze guy. What is his name? What's his name? The guy from
Chukwuemeka.
I don't even want to. Who are these guys? Like, have they ever played at this top level? No.
He used to play for Aston Villa. He's a pretty good.
Let him go. No, let him carry on.
My point is Chelsea literally are looking at a situation where they've sold all these players with a plan to bring in a bunch of players, and I don't think they're going to fill out the squad enough to be competitive next season. And it's going to be a situation where they're going to look at their team and they're going to say, we're playing 1 game a week. What happened to our team? They're going to look at the squad and they're going to say, I don't recognize my Chelsea. And that's what's going to happen. Right now, maybe you're saying I'm being harsh, but the harsh reality is this Chelsea team doesn't look even remotely close to what it would have been under Roman.
I know you said our negotiators are messy, so they weren't messy when they came and took Mudryk after a day or 2 of negotiations, when you guys were chasing this guy for months. They weren't messy then. They weren't messy then.
Okay,
like Brighton are tough. Brighton are tough negotiators, bro. Like we're like, again, we've taken a different stance. We're going back and forth verbally. I've agreed with you guys. It's taken too long. He's our main target. We've tapped him up. He wants to move. Brighton have promised him that he can move. Just pay up. I don't know what's taking so long, but again, there's a lot of adverse situations that are going on right now. I agree with you, lot. It is taking too long. But for you to come and say that our negotiators are now messy, bro, have you seen how much money that we've brought in from sales? People had to start complaining online, saying that we're cheating by using Saudi. We're messy. Come on, bro. That's you being disingenuous now, because you know that the negotiations right now have been the business. You've bigged up our business. Now you're trying to say that it's messy again. Come on, bro. What's going on here?
No, wait, Agal. Also, wait, Agal. I feel like you need to be reminded. Pretty much, Agal, you guys are paying for Caicedo, my bro.
No, we paid for Caicedo. We paid for
your 65 million plus add-ons for Kai Havertz is pretty much the price they're going to be paying for Caicedo. So you've funded that transfer. Plus Jorginho, you might as well make that 80 million, my friend.
To be fair, they've already used that 65 million to buy Strasbourg, so big up for that. And then when it comes to sales, I gave them credit. Good job. You guys sold players. I didn't think you were going to be able to sell them. But the reality is, looking at your team, you cannot tell me without 4 major signings coming into this team that you're not scared. Looking at your squad,
I'm not scared, bro. I'm not panicking because we don't know what's going on in the back. We know for sure right now, there's people sitting down, right, that know a lot more than us in terms of football, and they've got a job to do. They know right now that our team needs incomings. Just because you're not hearing X amount of signings and hearing all of these things doesn't mean nothing's happening, bro. Last season, you complained and said Todd Bowley's messy. Everything was getting leaked. It's true. You were right. He was very messy and he was all over the place. We had league after league after league. We couldn't go to the shop without seeing a player and going for that player. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So last season, it was too loud. Now we're doing it a little bit differently, but it doesn't mean that because it's silent, there's nothing going on. Like I said, I think you're going a little bit too early. Criticize in the incomings at the end of the window if we don't do business. I agree with you. Casado's taking too long. We do need incomings. We'll talk about the preseason game yesterday when it comes to Chelsea. But again, you're going a little bit too early. Let's just wait and not go over the top with them.
You know what? I will wait, but I'm just gonna say one thing, and then I'm done. You guys better hope you guys get Caicedo or somebody of that level, or else your midfield is going to be the worst midfield you've ever seen in your life.